I don't know if y'all heard about this or are familiar with this streamer. Um, Look out and says Twitch streamer Shell0 or Shell0. I didn't really follow up. I'm not too familiar with this brother. Let's say Shell0 gets pressed for not having a real job by his father midstream after he wasn't able to pay the light bill. Admittedly, I know I was a bit dubious. I don't know if that's the right word of some of these interactions because when you're in the business of streaming, as we all know, you have to kind of put on a show and anything for entertainment sake as long as the crowd is cheering. But we'll watch the interaction first and we'll see how you guys feel about it. Go ahead and play that.
You can't be just sitting in the room all day. I go to work, your mama go to work.
It's not even like I'm not doing nothing though.
You ain't doing shit but sitting in the room in front of the damn computer.
That's what it looked like.
You making money?
Of course.
How you making money? I don't see it. How you making money? You selling dope?
No.
How you making money then? You sell a damn light bill. Do you see the light bill?
I see it.
You can't be just sitting in the room.
Okay, so again, I apologize for the choppiness, but yeah, so basically, like Captain said, Homeboy Pops is pressing him about a light bill and his ability or inability. We don't know this brother's whatchamacallit. His ability or inability to generate some money. And yeah, obviously, we don't know the scale or size of the audience, but it's one of those situations where the audience is probably both laughing at him, but also a decent level of sympathy. For context, if anyone cares, this particular streamer is about 20 years old. And obviously they haven't popped off yet, but they're big enough for a clip like this to generate some virality. And I think it kind of goes back to the topic and or discussion of surrounding like the dynamic between parents and young adults. Obviously, this is a brother that's still living at home, and there seems to be some level of expectation for him to pay forward or contribute to the bills and finances of the household. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about this type of interaction. Do you think that I kind of sometimes I kind of write down notes and questions. I kind of wanted to ask you guys, do you think the pop should have been nicer? But that's that's kind of lame. And hey, man, we're all men here. Maybe not more than nicer, but what do you think of this kind of approach? And there's a whole bunch of comments I want to put in. I'll just leave it at that. What do you think of this kind of approach to a young adult? And also, does the I don't want to say occupation, but does the type of I guess they tell he's making money. Does the type of occupation that they're involved in, would that make you more empathetic or less empathetic for the brother? We'll start with you, Ghost. What do you think?
To be honest, I can kind of see this from both lenses. I don't have a problem with what Pops was saying because from his perspective, and I'm just extrapolating here from this 30-second video, but he's just seeing his son on the computer all day talking to people that he can't see. And it seems like that light bill ain't getting paid. And I don't know
He
how
can see
much.
the light bill coming in. That's what you can see.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any monetary contributions coming. So with like a generational gap where he might not get Twitch streaming and how it potentially could be very lucrative if you get lucky, he's just seeing that there's not really much progress being made and stuff isn't getting paid off or done. So he's like, what's the deal? And I don't think like he came off in a way that was like you talking to another man. Like you're not always gonna be able to be all nice and gentle all the time. But I think what he was saying, like I don't have a problem with it. And from the son's perspective, like I'm assuming that he's putting in the grind, trying to build up a following and all that, and that can be a very time consuming process that it might seem like he's doing nothing, but really he's again like hours a day streaming, interacting with people, trying to grow a following base. And he might think that the the father doesn't understand, which he might not. But at the end of the day, like I think the most important thing is you can work toward a goal, you can work towards something, but if you're living under your parents' roof and there's an expectation, like after you get to a certain age, you need to provide some money and show that you're doing something with yourself, especially if the pops is working long hours, the mom's working long hours, and it seems like the son's just sitting around. I get why he might be a little pressed and why he's like saying this to him because like it's really a very much a new generation mindset of
Yeah.
you can put in a lot of time, a lot of hours, months, days, years, and you might not have a lot to show for it, but one night you can just pop off unexpectedly. Whereas older generations, it's kind of like you got to work towards a goal, got to work towards a work with a job for a very long time to have a consistent income. So I get it. I'm not gonna kill either of them without knowing the full context, but I definitely understand where both of them are coming from, but the pops especially.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you're saying. And it's funny how much what you're saying kind of feeds into like the next topic, but we'll take it one step at a time. What do you think additional context, just for sake of sake, would make you sway to lean one way or the other?
Um, I guess for one, like to know is I guess the streamer's popularity isn't really that relevant. More so, is he putting in the time? Like, how often is he trying to stream? And how long has he been working at this? And
Hmm.
is he contributing anything at all? Like, does he have a job on the side that he's doing along with this? Has he like said,
It
I
seems like
don't have
whatever he's
anything now?
contributing, I think what we can for whatever he's contributing isn't enough. Like bills aren't getting fully paid.
Yeah. I don't know, like did he say like I know that I'm not pulling my weight, so to speak, now, but give me a couple months and I'll have what you're looking for plus more because
Hmm. Did he
like
put
you
up? Did he?
can
Did he
sorry
like
what you
generate a
saying
plan or something like that? Did he? Is it like
yeah because you can
articulating what he will be able to do, or what he can do in the future?
yeah I think that is definitely if we got the context of like he's providing that would go a long way to seeing the sun side more so because
Yeah.
like you can literally be putting in the hours and streaming and doing everything the right way and still not get popular just because it's just a matter of luck sometimes. But that could be like 10 years with nothing
Yep.
to show for it. And that's just the way that streaming is. And
Entertainment in general.
yeah, yeah, entertainment in general. But it can be tough, but it's like at some point you gotta understand that you can work toward your dream and also have responsibilities that you need to put in extra effort to support your dreams if your original avenues aren't getting where you need them to be.
What
So
kind
that
of
context wouldn't really help then.
oh,
Sorry, what'd
go
you
ahead,
say,
Ace.
Ace?
I said that context wouldn't really help. Even if the dude had like I'm gonna stream this much the next 6 months consistently, and at this point I should have enough money to support us. Like, how is it even possible for him to um provide that like certainty?
Have to be
So
like a certainty, but a plan in place that shows some type of growth or progress. Like that, it's not like you had to put together a PowerPoint, but like even if it's not like a guarantee, like I guarantee I'm gonna have X amount of followers by this date. It could
He
be,
needs subscribers. Is what he needs.
yeah, followers, subscribers, whatever. It could be I'm doing this every single day, but by this date, if I haven't reached my goals, I'm also gonna get a part-time job and
oh,
be
gotcha,
sending you
yeah,
like
yeah.
500 a month. Like it doesn't have to be like just a straight up a guarantee, but like a plan in place showing like this is what I aim to happen. If this doesn't happen, here's what I can do instead. That's more so
Makes
what I
sense.
meant.
Yeah, you're pretty on point. Although I would say if we got a pops like this, we all know some of our OGs. They need to see something. They need to see motion like now.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. It's just not gonna be that understanding all the time.
yeah. What about yourself, Ace? When you look at this interaction, what comes to mind? Do you have any level of empathy towards a young person in this type of situation? Does the type of grind that they're on sway you one way or other? Do you think the pops is 100% justified?
I think the pops is mostly justified. The only thing I will say, like as far as empathy, is that if the dad didn't really steer the the son to like do a specific thing to like guarantee an income and maybe dream on the side is more so the path that the son should be taking than just going whole heart going um fully into streaming as like the primary attempt to make money. Like I think that would be the shortcoming for me. Like I feel like it's the parents a significant responsibility of the parents is to or of parents is to um steer their children towards a a career path or at least um either you call it like an intermediate career path or whatever, even if the kid has like a passion to do something in the arts or in entertainment or in um yeah, any type of field that doesn't have a guaranteed uh paycheck off rip. um yeah, I feel like that's a significant responsibility of parents to steer their children in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if the dad hasn't done that, then and the kid decides, well, I want to try streaming, and that's what I'm gonna do, and um, isn't really thinking about the short term. Well, maybe I'm not gonna be able to pay the bills. Um, it's it's kind of on the parent as much as the kid. Um, but
You
yeah,
say
like
that, and you say that, and you're 100% true. But that could in itself cause a little divide of like, hey, like in term well, one, there's so many things. One that I think the pops or the parent has to understand the dynamic of what a young person like this is talking about in this day and age because we're saying like a parent should be able to like say them like, hey, do this part time and do that, do a job part time, but like or school part time, whatever the case may be. But a older person might not even understand the dynamic of like, okay, you put certain hours to streaming, then certain hours to doing this, like doing your real job. They might not understand how much time or what is needed for streaming or the proper time to stream or whatever the case may be. And two, I think you can still understand that can cause a divide of which like what if the child comes back and said, or not the child, but what if the person comes back and says, well, if I put in that time towards working, and I can't put in time towards streaming, and streaming is about like numbers in the long game, and there's a little contention of like that, trying to pushback of that.
you're gonna for the first question, um, I would hope, and this is probably, I mean, this is almost certainly not true, but um, that the parent would be at least willing to hear the kid out about whatever venue that they're trying to go down to to have like be their ultimate career, or even if it's not their ultimate career, just the thing that's going to be making them money primarily in the short term. I would hope that the parents would, say it's kid wants to be a Twitch streamer. The parent doesn't have no clue what the heck a Twitch streamer is. I would
Okay.
hope they would
Dog,
still
I'm just Think of all the island parents, bro. Try to explain the concept
I
of
know.
like
The majority is just probably not gonna. It's probably not gonna work out. But yeah. Regardless, that would be that's the answer to the first question. I guess I don't have anything better than that. Um, but to the second part, which was what was it?
Just
What
basically,
was the second question?
what happens if like there's any level of contention of like, hey, try to do this while doing this, but they're pushing back because I think we could easily imagine a world in which you're trying to guide a young person that's trying to blow up in streaming, so they already kind of have a, I don't want to say vain mindset, but the streamer mindset, and when you try to guide them towards something that is a bit more stable, they're like, but I'm trying to be the next actual speed, so I don't really want to work at X part-time job. Like, how does a parent deal with, or a person that's trying to guide that young person with that type of contention?
Okay, yeah, yeah. So in that situation, like you're getting into, I mean, you're basically getting into like, what if the kid just doesn't agree with the parent at all? And it's like, to
Or if there's
me,
pushback, no, let's not say they're flat out like mutinous, but they're kind of like, well, you just I want to, like they'll say, oh, I'll think about it, but then another few weeks will go by and they're just streaming.
yeah, I mean, it's like, to me, I don't know, I don't know. You're getting into questions of like, how do you parent your children in general when the parent and the child just don't agree? Like, if that's the case, the parent can always come back and say, look, we need money, we need bills to be paid. Right now, you're not contributing. I don't see it. It's definitely not happening in the short term. Maybe it would happen in the long term, but we need the money right now. So I need you to pursue a short, maybe call it a short term job, whatever. It has to be something that can pay the bills right now. I don't like, what else could the parent do after like they have that conversation.
So you
You
foresee a
don't.
world in which it would make 100% sense for a pops to be like, forego your dreams or your goals that you got going on and get to work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
And that's going to create a space in which that young person and that parent will be on uh like copacetic grounds.
I mean, maybe not in the short term, but the bills got to be paid. What are we talking about?
well, I have
You
a
gotta. I mean, you guys. In some ways, you gotta like. You don't get to do everything you want in life. Like,
so I got a
it,
question for you, Ace. Building on that, what if it's not about like the actual bills? Like, what if the bills don't really need to be paid? It's more so your your. I guess let me frame it like this: this is your child, and you're financially stable, and it's not a matter of you need help paying the bills. It's more so a matter of responsibility and all that. Would your
Mhm.
stance be different personally, like giving advice? Because again, the you don't need the money. It's more so just you want to instill these habits in the child in a way that you think makes sense. Would your response change then?
Yes, 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 certainly. I think like say you are just say I am just super well off. The kid really could live off me if they wanted to. Like it wouldn't be a problem. Like it wouldn't even be something I think twice about in terms of financial burden or anything like that. Then the the I think I could be convinced as far as okay, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to do this Twitch streaming thing. Granted, I have full knowledge on what Twitch is and what Twitch streaming looks like and how you can make money doing it. If that's the case, then I could see myself being fine with it. but it would still be something where like I would have to see I would have to see the level of effort being put into that as would be put into an actual job. So like, a regimented schedule type thing, a goal oriented type thing where you are setting goals for yourself in terms of the amount of subscribers you're going to be trying to hit per month. If you're not hitting that, why you're not hitting that, what you can do to affect that. These type of things. Like
You're gonna
it's
be the
not just
kids
going to be. It's not just going to be the
Twitch
kid is
manager.
just. Yes, it's not just going to be where the kid is just up in their, they're in their room hours throughout the day, streaming off and on, and things are kind of working out, but it's not really it's it's not really something that they're putting the level of effort that they would put into an actual job, because then it's like, okay, now you're basically just mooching off me for the gamble that your stream is going to pop off. You're not, and I think that the risk there is you're the kid isn't getting the values instilled in terms of like just the responsibilities that an adult has. Like you're not really I don't know, you're not really getting those values. So it's it is a detrimental thing if you allow the kid to just keep living like that perpetually, because they are going to just perpetually mooch off you, unless there's some drastic thing that changes where all of a sudden I do need you to help pay the bills or something like that. There's no incentive for them to grow as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm rocking. Um, you know what's interesting? And I guess it's not really that interesting because we kind of strive, and I think our general mindset is doing what makes the most sense and not just approaching things from that ultra conservative traditional values that we may or may not be used to. But I think I have like the hottest take here of like one. Hearing you guys talk, one thing that's really missing in all this equation, and not to focus on a situation like this, but just using it as an example, one of the key factors that's missing is like communication between like the young adult and the parent. And it's kind of messy because I also am very conscious, and I'm tend to lean towards like, I don't think it's worth trying to change the mind of older folks. like like OG is, they're kind of just fixed in where they're at, and it's not worth changing them. But I think, and you can just tell, and I've seen this type of interaction and this type of story a million times. Like there's like zero, little to no communication between individuals like this. Like the fact that they're coming in like, oh, do you make money doing this? Like you just in here, like they don't even understand the realm and environment, like kind of like what you were saying. Like they don't even understand like the world of streaming, and that's applicable to like a lot of the things that a younger person might be into that older folk is not into. And while trying to explain to them and get them inundated with the entire streamer world, or whatever the entertainment world, or whatever the respective hobby trying to turn professional realm you're in, at least if you're like on a consistent basis, like, oh yeah, today I collabed with this streamer, I gained a couple subscribers, this is what the projection looks like, this is some ideas I'm trying for my stream. Even if you like are on like a somewhat consistent basis, like communicating with your parent and trying to get them more involved, even if they don't really care, I think then a parent can get more they can be on a smoother ground than bust into your room one day and be like, hey, here's a light bill, what's going on here? Like
Yeah.
they're just very off in that regard. Um, and also on the other hand, I don't know if this is juxtaposed to what I just said. But in the same realm, I also, as it pertains, this is a male exclusive point. I also don't necessarily see any problem with old OG or father being relatively harsh and strict in this regard with their young sons, because like I said, this brother or brothers like this are around that like 19 to 22 range. Well, obviously, the life cycle for males developing and getting to where they're successful is a bit lengthier, throughout your 20s, quote unquote. Early on, at this age, you got to be on point with them so they don't fall into some like BS. You got to actually stay on top of it. I think it's so pivotal. Like there is if you look at some of the comments, there's some level of sympathy for this brother and brothers like this. And again, we've all seen like some streamers blow up, and we've all seen people in the entertainment space blow up. There's a million one artists that have stories about how like they wanted to continue to pursue music, but their parents or somebody in life was like, no, don't do that. And now all of a sudden that they're some of the biggest artists ever. But you also still got to be strict with and like harsh on young men. It sucks.
Yeah, you know what's ironic is thinking about all the success stories we see of these streamers popping off. How many of them look like they could really use or really could have used a solid father figure in their life for one reason or the other? Because a lot of them, I'm not naming any names, but a lot of them be kind of wilding out,
No,
not
we know
behaving
the
like
exact.
you would expect of a real man. But
Yeah, we know the exact
yeah,
type. That's a
generational
good point.
gap where he might not get. Which
I'm just playing on stream in the background. Nice.
Should be fine.
Weird interruptions aside. Is there anything else? This topic kind of feeds into what we're about to talk about next. But anything specific about this? Pardon me.
No,
If not, you can
I
pull the
think
next
we hit it.
topic.